CEOs may be more optimistic about the economy, but they plan to forego hiring and spending through the first 3 months of 2010. That's the latest finding from the Business Roundtable CEO Quarterly Survey. John Castellani is president of the Business Roundtable. He joins us now from Washington with more about those findings. John, welcome to Bloomberg News.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
At least in the very intro to you, doesn't sound very promising.
Well, when you look at the survey, what we're seeing and what our CEOs are seeing, more importantly, is sales are starting to trend up. But that trend is not so significant that it's affecting positively either capital expenditure plans or hiring plans. So the good news is sales are trending up, but it still has to go a long way before you're seeing the kind of recovery that we want to see in creating jobs and creating more investment.
John, Lori Rothman here. If the CEOs in your survey believe the economy is improving, why are 40% of them, as you found, still planning to cut jobs?
Well, it's getting better, Lori, but it is not getting better in a robust way at this point. It's mixed across the economy. Different sectors are recovering at different rates. Some are still struggling, as you know well. So those where you're starting to see recovery, they're starting to see the sales improve, but there's still 26% of our members saying sales will decrease over the next 2 quarters. So it's spotty, but it's trending up. I think what'll happen, of course, is as we go on, we'll have to watch those sales figures to see whether or not they warrant adding capacity and hiring more workers.
John, how do the jobless figures reveal themselves in all of this? The survey saying that the CEOs do expect that jobless number, it's going to hit 10% before the end of the year.
Well, I think that's probably the inevitable at this point. This has been a very, very serious recession. Again, keep in mind, as we have gone through this recession, companies have pulled back. They've improved their productivity, and that's good for the long term. Now, for the short term, it means they can get more out of the capacity that they have and the resources they have. So, as everyone says, employment's going to be a lagging indicator, and that's going to be the tough part. In the past, coming out of 2001, we saw an 18 to 20-month lag before you really saw hiring turn around.
John, just to clarify something, you mentioned that CEOs from your survey want to see added capacity, but isn't capacity pretty weak right now? And the problem is that companies have, you talk about the slack in the economy, that there's a lot of discussion, debate as to how to make up that slack.
Right. And, Lori, what you see in our response is only 21% of our members say that they're going to increase their capital expenditures over the next 6 months. 44% are going to hold where they are, and in fact, 35% are decreasing. We don't need additional capacity at this point. We don't make demand for our own products and services, and it's that demand that'll drive the capacity increases that'll come further along in the recovery.
What will drive that demand? Is it products? Do people, consumers want new things out there? What are the CEOs thinking about? Obviously, very broad question.
Well, obviously, I mean, it is just demand for the products and services that we have right now. You need a higher level of economic activity, people buying hard goods, people buying services, people buying business services, people traveling, all across the economy. You need that demand to come back. That's what has to come first, and that's what you're starting to see a little bit in the sales.
Right.
But this is not a survey that I'd put a label on at this point. It doesn't say the economy is recovering.
John Castellani, president of the Business Roundtable, joining us from Washington. Thanks.